What up, fam? Today we're gonna learn how to make this badass leather sling. I start up this piece of veg tan leather. This is the general shape we're going for. You could either try to wing it, or I left you a link to a template in the description. Carefully cut out the shape, and punch holes in the ends of the little fingers here, roughly 1/4 of an inch from the ends. Just to give you an idea of what we're going for here, by taking all these little fingers and matching up the little holes in them, we end up constructing a tiny little basket out of leather. Before we do this though, I want to decorate. I cover all of the techniques I'm using right now in my bracers video, but long story short, by wetting the leather, we're able to make indentations, which we then cut out with a swivel knife. I then go back in with stamps to bevel the edges, and make a textured background to make the Skyrim logo stick out a little bit more. I then dyed the whole thing in a light brown, and went back over the Skyrim logo and the trim with a darker leather dye in order to make it pop. Now, just as before, we're going to bring those little fingers together, making sure the middle one always stays on the top. Then I thread round leather cordage through the hole, and looped it back in on itself. To secure this in place, I'm going to be using wax thread and what's known as a common whipping knot. To do this, you make a bite with a thread, and then line it up with the ends of the leather cordage you want to keep in place. Using one of the tail ends of the thread, start winding it around the bite tightly. Once you've reached as many windings as you want, fish the working end through the exposed loop, and pull the whole thing through using the leftover tail end on the other side. If you find that confusing, I left a link in the description to the site where I learned how to do this knot. Now repeat the process on the other side. And check that out, we're almost there. Pretty cool. Next, we need a knot to hold on to in a finger loop. The length of the sling is going to vary, but a good rule of thumb is using roughly your wingspan. At one side, tie a knot at your chosen length, then slide a bead of some sort onto the cordage. Secure it in place with another knot, and cut off any of the excess. Now, on the other side, make a loop at the same length as your bead, and again, using the common whipping knot, tie that in place. This becomes your finger ring. To use the whip, you're going to hold the beaded end, and when you're ready, you let go of it to sling your projectile. In this case, I'm using a rock. Simply load your ammunition, gain momentum, and let go of the held end. Congrats, you've made a leather sling. Be safe with it, and happy slinging.